Kilo Whiskey 5 Delta Romeo Echo here, and today I'm redoing a video that I did about an hour ago because the audio from the video that I did last time, there was some issues and nobody could hear me, so it sounded like this and looked like this. So I had to do it over. So I thought I'd do it over. I may edit the video. I might just do the part that you couldn't hear me where the audio was out, and then just bring the other stuff together. We'll see. But today we are talking about if the 75-meter band exists. And I'm not going to give any answers right now. We're just going to go over this stuff. So before I get into any of that, okay, let me go over some things. I got some notes that I want to, I got them right here. Hold on, just give me a second. Got some notes here that I wanted to mention before we even talk about that. When you're a new ham, right? You can't, you don't just turn on the radio and then just go to any frequency and just start talking. You can't do that, because there's levels to this. I'm sure y'all heard that before. There's levels to this. And with that said, when I say levels, there's different levels that allow you certain privileges on certain frequencies, on certain bands. So with that said, when you get licensed and you become a technician or a general or even an extra, you're going to have to refer to that band plan to see what frequencies you have privileges for, bands and frequencies. You just can't, like I said, you just can't turn on the radio and just talk and just go to any frequency and talk. A lot of new hams, they'll get their license, and some of them just be like, where do I go to talk? How do I do this, or whatever it may be? Because I was like that, and I'm just like, well, what do I do now? And I really didn't know exactly where to. I mean, you have it on your test sometimes, like you read about it. You can only talk on these bands and this frequency if you have this level license, and so you get some type of knowledge of it, but when it came to reality, I was just like, oh, okay. I saw the band plan for the first time, and I was like, it looks nice colors, and it's very colorful, but I don't know what I'm looking at. So it could be confusing. You may have this feeling of like, I don't know where I fit in on this particular band because I don't know my privileges, and you should know them before you even take your test, but some people don't, and I don't hold that against you, because there's a lot of things I didn't know. And so after I took my test, which was all the learning starts after you take the test. The exam just gets you in to start learning other stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly, before I get into the topic of discussion, I'm going to quickly, since we're talking about the band plan, I want to quickly summarize the frequencies, and not to summarize the frequencies. I'm gonna summarize the band plan and how to use it. Okay. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the band plan, and I'm just gonna give you a brief description of how to show you what frequencies, how to look for what frequencies that you could actually transmit on. All right. So let's go to the band plan. All right. So here it is, band plan. Let me move this out my way on my screen. Y'all don't see what I see, but okay. All right, where's my finger? Where's my finger? Where you at? Let me bring you in. Let me bring you up. All right, there's my finger. There's my infamous finger. Not the middle finger. This finger. All right, so this is the band plan, and this is not all of it. I mean, there's some on the bottom here. Let me just try to move it up without going out of frame. You got the 15 meters down here and stuff like that. But I'm gonna stick to pretty much. It just came out of it. There we go. All right, boom. So I'm gonna stick to some of the basic stuff. I'm just showing you how to show you how to find what band privileges you have. So you don't really need to see the whole band plan, but The band plan has, 40 meters, 10 meters, 2 meters, 6 meters, 20 meters, 30 meters, 160, 630 meters, 2,200 meters. It has a lot, and 15 meters. Um, and if you're a certain class or level of whatever level of license you have, you may be able to talk on most of these bands. All right, so let's just say you are a let's just say, all right, we're just gonna say you're a general, okay? So let me before I do that, let me do this one thing. Let me I'm losing my train of thought. Let me show you the different levels, licensing levels. I'm just all out of it today. All right. I guess the second time around ain't good enough. But all right. So as far as the levels and the licenses, you got your amateur extra. Okay. Um, extra. You pretty much have all the privileges. And I'm going to go through this real quick so we can get to the band plan. You have your advanced, which no longer exists. They don't. They do not issue advanced ham radio licenses now. This went into effect April 15th of 2000, and they haven't done that since. Your general, which is what I am, and I'm gonna tell you, general, you get a fairly good amount of band privileges. So, I'm not really looking to go get my extra because I like what I have now as far as the general. A technician, that'll get you on 10 meters. Ooh, excuse me. That'll get you on 10 meters, and you have some privileges on 10 meters. I'm going to show you that. And lastly, it's novice, which again, just like the advanced licenses, no longer existed. They don't issue those licenses anymore. Effective April 15th, 2002. But I just wanted to put them up there so you had an idea of the history of different levels and different licenses. Now it's only three: the technician, the general, and the amateur extra. All right. So let me get back to the band plan. So now you know the E, and let me get my finger pointer here. The E, let's just say right here, that E right there stands for extra. The A is advanced, which dated April 15, 2000, no longer exists. The G stands for general, and the N is for novice, which still that doesn't exist. It stopped in April 2015, and the T is for technician. All right. So that's first you have to the first thing you do when you go to this band plan, you got to identify what. Well, you already know what level license you are, and so once you identify that, let's say if you're a general, all right, so you're a general, you're gonna go identify all the G's here. So if I go to let's just say 10 meters here, I look for the G, and G says, okay, on 10 meters, I can. This is all I can do. All of this, okay. So I can do RTTY and data between 28.0 and 28.300. That's from that's the RTTY and the data. And then as a general, I can go from 28,300 to 29,700, which gives you a wide band, like a wide amount of great privilege right there when the band is open. And another thing, let me just go over the band thing. So when people say the band is open, for me, I was just like, okay, the band is open. When does it close? When does it open? Is it like Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. like that? I'm like, band opens. But I didn't know that the band, when they say the band's open, they mean pretty much like activity on 10 meters. So there's a time where whether it may be the conditions, the band may not be open. You can get on it, but you might not hear nothing. It might just be wiped out completely. So that means the band was not open. When the band is open, there's a lot of activity. There's a lot of stations, and you see a lot of activity on your little waterfall. So pretty much when the band is open, you're able to talk on it. Basically, that's the simple definition I can give you. When the band is open, you can talk on it. There'll be a lot of activity on it, and people will hear you. You'll hear them. When the band is closed, it's completely wiped out, and it has nothing to do with your radio and how powerful it is. It's just not. The conditions are just not good. So getting back to the general, if you're a general, you're going to look for the G, and then it'll tell you this is what you can talk on. Let's just look at another one just for an example again, okay? One more example here. Okay, so if you are I like this one, 20 meters. You're a general, okay, at 20 meters. So you can, as far as phone, you can talk on 14, right here, 1425, 14225 to 14350, okay? That's phone privileges, okay? And then you have your, I keep saying RTTY and data, which is 14.025 to 14.150, okay? If you're an extra, that changes. If you're an extra, now you have 14.150 to 14.350 on phone, and you have 14.0 to 14.150 on RTTY and data. So the difference between an extra and a general in terms of phone privileges, the general only has it from 14.225 to 14.350, whereas it's a little wider with the extra, where it's 14.150 to 14.350. So that's how you read that, and you just look at that, and you'll know. You can look at any of these and tell you, and it'll tell you what privileges you're able to transmit on. All right. So now that we explained that, let's go back to well, we're already at the band, but with that said, let's look at the 80 meter band here. Just give me 1 second here. Something just happened to my computer. You can't see it on your end, but on my end I can see it. So let's just see. All right. Let me go right here and move this out the way, because there's a lot of stuff in my way here on my screen. Y'all don't see what I go through here. When you see a nice video, I see a whole bunch of stuff on my screen, so I got to move around and all of that. So that's what I'm doing now. So let's talk about this 75 meters. Does it exist? Does it not? It depends on who you ask. For me, it does not exist. It's just a reference that people refer to. So let's just say, all right, so 75 meters, a lot of hams refer to the 75 meter band as the upper portion of the 80 meter band. Makes no sense, but that's what they refer it to as. So basically, let me get my finger here. Let me make it a little shorter. Okay, so right here, this is the 80 meter band. Right here is 3.50 to 4.0. That's technically the 80 meter band looking at the band plan. But some hams say that 75 meters is what we refer to as the upper portion of the 80 meter band. So that would run from let me get my finger here, from 3.6. All right, it's a bug in here, a little gnat getting on my damn nerves. So hams would say the 75 meter band runs from 3.6 right here to 4.0, and the 80 they would say the 80 meter band runs from 3.5 to 3.6, because they say the 80 meter band is considered the lower portion. This 80 meter band is the lower portion of the band, which is 3.5 to 3.6, and is basically pretty much for CW and data. So that's why they say this is the 80 meter band, the red, and the green here, right here, is the 75 meter band, because it's the lower portion of it's the upper portion of the band. Sorry. So let me break this down just a little bit. So here's the thing. I'm going to tell you why I don't think the 75-meter band exists. But then I can give you a good point as to why people do say it does. Um, you ask yourself, how can a 75-meter band be inside of the 80-meter band? They're two separate bands. That's in logic reasoning. That's what you're saying. It's two separate bands, 80-meter band and a 75-meter band. But the 75-meter band is inside the 80-meter band. So how could it be 75 meters? And that's my logic. That's why I say 70. That's why I specifically and personally say, no, 75 meters does not exist. If it did exist, it would be on this band plan. But a lot of hams refer to that upper portion of 80 meters as 75-meter band, even though 75 meters band is inside of another band. And I gave an example of this on the video that I did last time where I had to do this over. But let's take New York City, right? New York City is made up of different boroughs. You got the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan. Like, let's just say Brooklyn. So Brooklyn is New York City, but it's inside. Brooklyn is Brooklyn, right? But Brooklyn is in one of the boroughs of New York City. So you say you're from Brooklyn, New York, then you're still from New York City, New York. You're from New York, New York. Okay. But though you live in Brooklyn, you still you're New York, New York. That's your city. Your city is New York. The borough is Brooklyn, but your city is New York, right? So some people will say, okay, 75 meters, yeah, it's part of the 80-meter band, but it's 75 meters. It's a band by itself, even though it's inside of another band. So they're saying 75 meters is a band, but it's just inside the 80-meter band. Just like people say, yeah, Brooklyn is it's a separate city, it's a separate borough, but it's inside the city of New York, so it still makes it New York. You get what I'm saying? So it's the same thing here. They're saying 75 meters. Yeah, it's inside of another band, but it's still 75 meters, and even though it's inside the 80-meter band. And somebody will say, hey, look, I'm still Brooklyn, even though Brooklyn's in New York City. I'm still Brooklyn. Like I'm Brooklyn. I'm not from New York. I'm from Brooklyn. Even though Brooklyn is New York City, just a borough of it. So that's my take on 75 meters being inside of 80 the 80-meter band. Some people say it should be two. If 75 meters exist, it would be two different bands, and the ARRL would put that on the band plan, but it's not there. So some people say it doesn't exist, and I'm one of them. I don't. 75 meters don't exist. It's 80 meters. If I'm on 3.7, I say it's 80 meters. If I'm on 3.9, it's 80 meters. If it was 75 meters, then the ARRL would have put 75 meters on there. And they would have put specific frequencies for 75 meters. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right. So now that we understand what's if the whole thing about the 75-meter band, because I know I've heard it a lot, and I'm just like, where's the 75-meter band at? And I just tell you, like, just as like, if you're my age, there used to be a Wendy's commercial where the lady would be like, where's the beef? Where's the beef? Like, she kept saying, where's the beef? Y'all know if y'all my age or older, y'all will know. I'm 51. She'll be like, where's the beef? And that's what I used to say about that 75 meters. Every time I heard it, somebody say something about 75 meters, I'm like, well, where's the 75 meters at? I don't see it. I'm looking at this band plan here, and I don't see it. So where is it? Where's the 75 meters at? And never could find it. But, after doing some research, this is what I found out. This is the research that I received, and I wanted to pass it on to New Ham so it doesn't take you as long as it took me to figure out that 75 meters is not 75 meters. Everything in that 80-meter band, this frequency from 3.5 to 4.0 is the 80-meter band. Whoever wants to differ from that, hey, that's your opinion. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't see the 75-meter band put forth on this band plan by the ARRL. Okay. Now let's talk about 80 meters. I just want to give you a quick little something about 80 meters. Even though we're, the purpose of me doing this video has been discussed and we're done with it. But I want to talk about the 80 meter band. So the 80 meter band is the largest band. It's the largest band that's on the band plan. And it goes, like I said, it goes from 3.5 to 4.0, which is pretty big. The only one that's coming in second to that, I think it's the 17 meter band. That's the second largest. But that 80 meter band is long, okay? And the thing about the 80 meter band, it's good at night. Okay, that's what I can tell you. It's good at night, and especially in the winter. Like in the winter at night is good. Like during the day, the 80 meter band, I mean, you can get on it and probably reach some people a couple 100 miles away from you. But the 80 meter band at night in the winter is real good. In the summer, it's not so good, as just my opinion and my experience. It's not that great. In the summer, it's like, it's hard. It's just hard for me. It was hard for me. It's the static crashes and the noise. The noise is off the chain in 80 meters in the summer. And at night, it ain't as good as it is like in the winter. I can turn it on right now, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of activity going on in 80 meters. So, that's something to think about. If you're a QRP guy, you can forget about 80 meters. Like, especially like during the day or in the summer, you can forget about that. It's extremely hard. And this is my experience. This is my experience only. I'm not saying that's for everybody, but that's just my experience only. So 80 meters in the summer, QRP, I don't think so. So real quick about, before I get out of here, 80 meters is don't be intimidated by it. I mean, when you get on there, there's a lot of politics on there. People talking about, not a majority, but there's a lot of people who talk about politics, especially late at night. Some of the stuff that they say is just off the chain, makes you want to say something, but I don't. I'm not. It's something about, not all of them are ignorant by far, but there's a few ignorant ones on there that'll say something. You just can't stoop to that level because, why argue with a fool? So 80 meters is not all bad people. So I just want to get that out the way. I'm just saying there's a few that you'll see that kind of give a bad name for 80 meters. But for the most part, I think a lot of people on 80 meters, they just talk about radios and stuff like that. It's pretty good, but just don't be intimidated by some of those people. Some of them people won't let you in. Like you may say something wrong and they may completely ignore you or correct you in a very childish way, like you're being disciplined in school. There's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of politics on there. If you are a new ham, I was going to say if you're a new ham, when you go on 80 meters, but if you're a new ham, I'm assuming that you're a new technician, and you can't go on 80 meters, but that it's not true, because if you're a new ham and you pass your technician license, you take your exam and you pass your technician. If you pass that, they're going to give you the opportunity to take your general. And if you pass your general, then you're a general. You're a technician and you're a general. You got it both in one day. And that happens a lot. So if you are a new ham and you have a general license, you just got your general license, you're a new ham, you pass the tech and the general, you're going to be a new ham, but you can go on 80 meters and talk. And like I said, just don't be intimidated by it. Just, get out there, jump on the air, and have fun with it. But 80 meters could be a little rough around the edges. So take that for what it's worth. But so recap real quick. I'm just gonna go over this real quick. The 80 meter band, it runs from 3.5 to 4.0. There are hams out there that say 75 meters. They refer to a portion of the upper portion of the 80-meter band as 75-meter band, which is 3.6 to 4.0. And they say 3.5 to 3.6 is just Ridian data. So I don't see 75 meters officially put on the band plan by the ARRL. So I'm going to say that, in my opinion, 80 meters is 80 meters. It's 3.5 to 4.0. So that's just my spill on it. If you have any different opinions about it, you can just leave a comment on YouTube here or on the Black Ham Radio University Facebook group. That's going to do it for me. And I appreciate everybody watching, and have a good night. I'm out of here. Kilo Whiskey 5 Delta Romeo Echo, and I'm out. 73.